told you we had a special village cousin pulling up today, and it is none other than Lil Nas X, who even in my adult life has been teaching me how to just walk in my purpose and be all that I am, how I am.
I really appreciate that. I appreciate that.
You know, I love you, and I'm just going to say it. I've been in radio. I just celebrated my 10th year last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. When I talk to folks who listen, who vibe with music, music is the soundtrack to their life. Everyone wants to be like everyone else and then get mad when they try to show who they are because we've committed to the cookie cutter version that you gave us. Yeah. And in 2019, here you bring your Black boy joy on my Twitter timeline, and my life has not been the same. I love elevating you when I talk to the kids that I mentor about what being authentically you is, and that you most certainly can make money being yourself. So before we get into all your other business, thank you for walking in your purpose, because this has been a journey for you. How have you been able to focus on your craft and your superpower and not the critics?
How have I been able? I've been having like guidance, you know, from the universe. I feel like there's just like, there's beings out there watching over me and like keeping me in check and focused on what I'm doing. And I also like, you know, I don't think, you know, their opinions matter as much, I guess. So it's easier to just say.
Respectfully, of course. Respectfully. And let's not front. I think those of us who love you and have been touched by your craft, is radio, over 1 billion spins, 12.5 billion streams worldwide.
1 billion streams?
Not bad for a one-hit wonder. Isn't that
not
what we have?
Not bad for him.
Not at all. Now, let's get into your baby. Bundle of Joy finally here.
My baby Montero is here.
What kind of pressure is that finally off your back to at least have your baby here and in your arms?
I feel like the pressure was off my back by the time Call Me by Your Name came out. And like, you know, but now that the album's out, it's just like, it's like a sigh, you know? It's like, I worked, it's finished, it's out here.
So I'm listening to the album and I'm like, okay. So I didn't expect you to be so vulnerable. I'm a lyrics person. I'm an 80s baby. So lyrics, beats get me, but lyrics will draw me in. The things that you share, why was it important to you when you could have given us anything? We would have stayed, we would have danced, we would have applauded, to be this authentic from, you know, where you come from. You went from an air mattress to doing collaborations with Elton John. That's a testimony. So why was it imperative to you to be like, nah, they're going to get me and really, really me? Because I'm sure there are people, especially when you are a part of a label and a whole situation, that may want you to do one thing because they think that's going to bring more money. But it seems like you most certainly took some very personal turns that I haven't seen with an artist in a while.
I mean, for the very reason that you just mentioned, like I wanted to be like really authentic. I want to build like a fan base like built on me being myself and being real. And I know, like, you know, we tell our stories and we tell a million other people's stories. And people love people that they can relate to and then they can feel something from. And I want to give people something they can feel as well as like bops, you know? Yeah. Yeah. And this also was like a lot of therapy for me, like getting a lot of things off my chest.
What was, of the whole track list, I'll tell you some of my favorites, but what were the more therapeutic songs for you, where you were finally able to like release, open up a door of healing that maybe you thought you had kind of dealt with prior, but you found like during this process, oh shit, maybe I didn't deal with that all the way. Maybe you know what I mean?
Dead Right Now, Sun Goes Down, Void, what else? Tales of Dominica, Lost in the Citadel. It's just a lot of them. But those are probably the main ones for sure.
So for me, it's Don't Want It, which reminded me of Eminem's Mockingbird. I remember you putting a snippet of it on IG back when Old Town Road was like what everybody was focused on. And it was in that song. I was like, oh, Sugar Honey Iced Tea. We ain't seen nothing yet. Like, is this what we're also gonna get? It's such like listening to the album. Whenever I'm listening to an album, I score it based on if I'm cleaning my house, if I have to skip a track. Like if I gotta stop to move to something else, then it's a problem. For me to go through 15 tracks, bop to each one, a couple of them I cried on. One of me. Scoop is on my Keep Glowing Sis playlist. I play a playlist every morning.
Scoop.
To get me prepared for the day. One of me made me cry.
Really? One of me made you cry?
It's one of those feelings of when you are walking in your purpose and trying to live out your dreams, you'll have people that don't know how to dream big that will consistently trip you up. And I don't know if that was the message in that song. Like,
that absolutely was the message. Yeah, it's like from another person's point of view, and also like thoughts that you get inside your own head, you know. And like, you know, I really wanted to get that song out and really just like let people know like the shit, you know, you hear and everybody's always in your ear telling you what they think you should do and who you are and what you're meant to be and where you're going to go and where you're not going to go. And yeah, it's a lot. And, you know, we do that to each other as human beings, and it's like really fucked up.
I listened to it and I instantly thought it spoke to me, not just because of my own personal life and how I grew up. I grew up in foster care. So I was a statistic a long time ago. I wasn't supposed to make it, wasn't supposed to be having this conversation with you. And it's kind of like that. That's what I felt like, that subconscious conversation that you have. And then the memes we put out that I'm all right, but subconsciously I'm trying to deal with everything. And it seemed like a testimony to all you were going through. I've never seen, well, it's been a while since I've seen an artist come out that it seems like no matter how much good you do, no matter how dope you are, I'm going to find the one thing that I can kind of make negative and try to draw that out. Like when I saw your birth announcement, people call it trolling. I want you to market me and my radio show. I want you to do my marketing and promotion. I loved it. People gravitated towards that and how you were going to make their kids not grow up to be humans and all these things. First of all, that's not the worst thing I think we've seen ever in life. Do you have access to the internet?
Thank you.
That announcement was the least of your worries. Do you feel like there's an expectation that's been put on you that other artists don't get?
Absolutely. And I mean, like, even that, like, that's a bigger what's the word? That's a bigger deal because of who I am. It would not have been a big deal if it had been on the other shoe. Like it's been a lot of pregnancies from men, like through TV shows and whatnot. And it's always been good. It's always been gravy, you know, but once it's me, it's a problem.
Why do you think people have such a problem with you being you in a world where we're yelling, let people be who they are and live freely?
It's very much a world of let people be who they are unless I don't like it. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people have grown, like they're raised to not like people like me. You know, they're raised to see me as the villain. Yeah.
So did you play into that villain mentality? You knew what you were going to get from them Satan shoes, right? And some of these visuals. Did you know going in?
I'm not going to lie. Of course. I definitely did. And it's like I'm going to use your hate for me against you.
I'm happy that you say that. A lot of the visuals that you post to me come across as playing with the stereotypes that people have projected into the world of especially gay Black males and people in the LGBTQ plus community. Is that is that what you're aiming to do? Like, it's kind of like, let me throw it back in your face and show you how stupid you look, how crazy you sound with the things that you're throwing my way? Like,
absolutely. In some cases, definitely. Yeah.
Not in all.
Say it one more time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me scoot up some.
Yeah, not in all.
In some cases, but not all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because sometimes I genuinely just want to like be really artsy and do things that I find cute. And sometimes I'm like, because, you know, a lot of times when I was first into the music industry and I came out, like a lot of people were like, okay, he's cool because he's not like all the other gay people. And even within the gay community, like there's like a stigma against flamboyance, and it's like, it doesn't make any sense, you know? So I want to go straight forward, you know?
So let's talk about Mr. Robert, who is a whole gospel artist and loves you to bits and pieces. Did you sit down with your father first and was like, listen, this is what I'm about to do before you see it, before your gospel folks see it, and this is where I am. I love the way he loves you, like out loud.
For which specific thing are you talking about?
From the Satan shoes to some of the visuals to even.
I did not tell him. I did not let him know. I knew I did not want to have that conversation. I was like, I'll let him see that at the same time as the world. Gotcha.
Once he saw it, what was that conversation like?
What was it like? He was like, he literally texted me, he was like, I got through it.
Question that I will ask on top of that is, what have you done, or what practices do you use, what self-care are you using to go from a very public, private life, because social, you're allowed to be a little private, to a very public life. People finding about your relationship with your mom, her battle with addiction, who you're dating, why are you getting opportunities that artists who've been in the game for decades can't get? How do you deal? Because at some point, even if you can be like, I can ignore it, just being human, that's a lot to go from you not none of my business to here go all my business.
I mean, you know, I spend a lot of time in solitude, like thinking about a lot of things before I do it, or like just thinking about where I'm going moving forward. And I talk to myself a lot. I listen to the world, like not the actual world, but like the universe. You know, I peep like signs, and like I take what I can from everything. And yeah, I just use it. I use it and it works. It helps. I try not to get too into my head about things. Yeah. So
let's talk about the unofficial godfather of Baby Montero. I don't know how Elton John got my job, but it's fine. I'll allow him this moment. He says that he's admired you from afar and believes that the universe and fate brought y'all together. How does that feel for you? I'm sure you knew about Elton John before you got into the game, and that he has admired you in the way that you walked on your own too into this space.
That's an insane thing. It's like somebody who's the legend, like one of the biggest artists of all time, even knowing that I exist and admire me and offering to be on my album. Like, that's insane. Yeah.
I just got to wrap it up like Dave Chappelle. So here are my final two. The Washington Post just did an article that said Lil Nas X empowers invisible LGBTQ plus village cousins. And you are creating a new space for what a Black male mainstream artist is and can be.
I really appreciate that. I would love to see it that way. And, you know, I'm excited for this next generation, like even like after me and whatnot, like
what they're going to create.
It's going to be incredible.
Oh, man, I'm excited to see what you do next. And then finally, not too many people paid attention to that Baby Montero's baby registry is still up. I am a champion for community service. I grew up in foster care. I'm the baby that the village raised. Mm-hmm. I wanted to say thank you. For somebody who's had somebody sitting in jail, cash bail, can't get out, for you to do the Bail X Fund, for you to add all these charities that might not get the look or get the light because they not popping or popular as your stores for your baby registry. I want to say thank you. And that's the final question. You could have did anything, but that's what you chose to do at this moment.
I really appreciate you. I really appreciate your energy for this entire interview and actually like getting an in-depth listen to me and what I'm doing and whatnot, and not just having like a cheat sheet of Google shit.
Now, if they wouldn't have cut me, I had so many questions for you, but that one stuck with me. Normally, people wait until the spotlight's not on them. Hey, I'm helping the homeless. Look at me. And in this space where you could have did anything, partnered with anybody, what made you say, nope, we're going to do this bail fund and we're going to do this baby registry this way, and then you can go ahead and let me go?
What made me say no? I mean, you know, I'm in this place where I have influence and I have the opportunity to help, and I'm going to do that. So there's, yeah.
I appreciate you. I love you. I'm hoping that we get a $sign Slime remix with Drake since he was busy when you reached out. Thank you. I love you. Continue blessings.